computer. Okay. Let's just wait and see if anyone else joins. We can have up to 6 people.
Six, six, not including you.
Correct. Everyone able to see the document? Who's the unassigned? Admin, Katrina, and Ryan. Hmm. Hi, Katrina. All right. I suggest everyone turns their microphones on initially. So you guys have to decide between yourselves who's going to be the agenda manager, the timekeeper, and the note taker. So,
I'll be the note taker.
I'll keep time.
Agenda manager.
Janai and Michael. Okay, so remember, after 15 minutes, I'll give you guys a bit more information, and again at 30 minutes. So you might want to just keep an eye on the 15-minute mark as well, just to have a kind of a thesis postulated by that stage and be ready for more information. Off you go.
Mhm.
Do we also
Okay.
want to read this through, or how do we want to do it?
Yeah, has everyone read through the document?
I'm just rereading it right now. It would just take a minute to read it.
Yeah, I saw it initially, but I'm not sure how I can get to it because I'm doing this on an iPad. I don't know how to get to it now that I'm in this room. If that makes any sense.
I
Would it be
think I
helpful
should.
if we share the link again? Oh no. Oh,
Ah,
nice.
sweet. Okay, let's have a look. Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Maybe when each person's ready, you can just put your hand up, and then we'll know when we can start.
That's a good idea.
These automatic emojis are weird.
I guess I can start by just saying the emotion he's avoiding, probably fear. He's definitely not examining the event that occurred that marked the beginning of his decline.
Mm.
It seems like he didn't explore that at all in the 6 months. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I
That's a
agree,
good
Alex.
observation.
Oh, Matthew, you
Oh,
go.
No, I was just agreeing. Yeah, that's a good observation.
Yeah, it seems like there is like just a high level of maybe, or there's just like a lot of emotional suppression still taking place. Um, Hence maybe the stuckness. And also they said he turned to meditation hoping it would lift this mental fog. In some ways still seems like a controlling and a volition um, to get
Yeah,
rid of it.
like to bypass it, sort of thing.
Mm,
I think there's like a emotional and cognitive obscuration that is like um it it's better to like he has an idea about what being um in a better state looks like. So that means like no anxiety, that means having no mental fog, like clarity as in the men you guys might have also remembered that Mei Cheng talked about like not being confused in the confusion. There's like also this aspect of not being you can find clarity in the mental fog as well. I think that's one of the things he's assuming is that the mental fog isn't clear or isn't doesn't means that there's no clarity.
Mm.
yeah, I'm guessing that he probably feels like progress will be like that he'll feel more at ease and and really in order to get there, he's going to have to feel less at ease for some period of time while he examines what's going on. I think that falls under the question of, well, what does genuine progress look like for John? Probably feeling feeling more clearly his the things that he's not liking.
Yeah, I would even go further and like you should have total absolute mental breakdowns and physical breakdowns.
Is
But
this
that,
what
Well,
Elliot? When he's sorry, go.
yeah, I mean that might be a bit too much for a person like John, who seems like he's not really in tune with his inner state that much. So we would have to be careful of not ontologically shocking him too hard that it would send him into an abyss that he can't get out of. So
Mm.
I guess that leads to the question like what actionable suggestions can we help help him with?
to me, what comes to mind is there's an element of like grounding and contact that is missing because I think in that grounding and contact, if you keep going back to that, actually, it's like that brings up everything, but at the same time, I think it also makes it manageable because the anxiety feels almost like uh, a layer on top of the suppression, which makes it really hard to be with it. But I think once being with it, it's almost like the anxiety that makes it so hard dissipates. And then it's kind of like being with what's underneath that, which I feel maybe without all the anxiety feels in some ways more doable, but it takes like potentially some
Yeah.
down for that. I don't know. That's the first thing
Yeah.
that can be.
Yeah, it almost sounds like there's kind of almost like three stages. And the first stage is what you're saying, Kat, of just getting grounded first, making contact. Maybe the next stage would be going deeper into feelings. And then maybe like a third stage would be, like Alex said, mental, physical breakdown if he's wanting to go that far.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like probably like setting him up for success in that sense of like, okay, if he's gonna go into feeling and potentially go into this realm of really heightened emotion and states, um, what needs to happen for him to like still be able to stay in some ways at peace and calm going through that? Does that make sense? It's like it almost feels like there is, I don't know, a fitness or a reassuringness that like he can like still like regulate himself or still like be okay um as he goes through that. So it's like survivable, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see here.
Yeah, kind of make sure he knows what the edge looks and feels like. Because
Mm.
that's
Hmm.
And also pose to him that the anxiety or mental fog is not an issue to be resolved, but more a feeling to be felt, to be reacquainted with, to, as Mei Chang loves to say, recognize, resensitize to. It's not the issue itself, but it's a gateway to something deeper. And if he's aware of it, might be fighting something at the surface level, but deep down might be something completely different than what he first assumed to be.
Mm. Do you mean like the mental fog and the anxiety kind of being like the resistant itself, or like how the resistance shows up?
Yeah, it's like when your wall is broken and you just paint it, there's still a scar. And then you just paint it again, there's still, a scar. The wall is broken. So you look at the broken wall, you stop painting it. It's just a different color. But if you just keep looking at it, what is it actually saying? What does the anxiety mean to him? What does the mental fog mean? Why does it have to go away? And make him be curious about his predisposition.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's
that's
good.
you go, Crystal.
No, I was just saying that that sounds really good, Janai. Um,
Because he says that he keeps looking or has these glimpses of when he was younger, but he's still young. So, what is it about his younger, more vibrant days that brings about those emotions of elation? What's missing right now? What is he not having?
mm,
Hmm. I mean, it sounds kind of like some was like a trauma response, right? At least to me, that's what it sounds like. And so then
Yeah.
that suppression happens and that not wanting to feel. And so I guess comparing back to how like, a lot of people feel like broken compared to how they once were. And so there are these references back to their childhood or whatever when they didn't feel like that.
hmm And is he like, can he really be sure that in his earlier life he didn't have any of that anxiety? Or was he living, like, was he just growing up, not aware of what was going on, but as he gets older, it just seeps in and it's like, oh, wait a minute, why do I feel so anxious? I never used to feel like that. But is that really the case?
Hmm. Yeah. Actually, that made me think on the flip side of that, there's also the angle of maybe as a gateway prompting him to remember how like he himself, like his being has been the same throughout that from childhood to now. Like that in some ways has been the same, untouched.
Mhm. Yeah.
going along with what you said there, I thought you were going somewhere else, but I like what you said. Point out how he's always part of him has always been the same. Um, but when in relation to what Janai said about perhaps, he may have had anxiety when he was young. Of course he did. Like he's human, right? So um maybe taking like pointing those things out to him and then asking him, can you remember a time when you did have anxiety when you felt like, everything was good, how did you resolve anxieties at that time? And how is it different for you today? So like maybe back when he was younger, maybe he would always like go to his mom or to a friend or something, or maybe he had a hobby or I don't know, whatever. And now today something's different. He's doing something different. And using that as a way to kind of help him see things more clearly.
Yeah. Got to take into consideration the new piece of information Tom will give us within the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, we're ready for it, Tom, I think.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
When asked about his current life, John shares that he used to be more productive and successful. He feels he is gradually getting back on track with a new business venture. John expresses strong confidence in his ability to make this business successful. For him, business represents the cultivation and application of the masculine principle, something he has spent years refining.
Mm,
However, previous mentors report that John expressed the same ambitions during the last bootcamp cycle. This suggests a recurring pattern over at least 6 months, repeatedly starting new ventures but rarely sustaining them. While his meditation progress has stagnated, his outer life remains in constant flux.
Thanks, Tom.
So you're saying he started a business before and he didn't follow through?
he's got commitment issues.
Should we note down, or maybe Kristen, you've already done this. Are we like keeping score of the 3 potential emotional obscurations and the 3 cognitive obscurations?
Yeah, I thought I don't have anything written down under those yet. We could throw some out and I can put them in the list and then we can always change them as we get more information.
How does everybody feel about that? That's a good idea.
I think so, yeah.
Thanks, Kristen.
Um, so I'm not sure if I know like the definition. I mean, I can kind of guess what an emotional obscuration is, cognitive obscuration.
I think
Would it
one of the cognitive obscurations might be uh like thinking about progress. He talks about like catching up with people and the way he frames that.
Mhm.
Cognitive obscuration would be um, that there's such a thing as progress.
Mm.
That's a good
Yeah.
point, Michael. Also, maybe like related to your point, maybe there's also like a gaslighting of his own self-doubt, which is maybe also why he doesn't continue through with these ventures. So there's this self-doubt about also his progress or where he's at or
Yeah.
Hmm. How would you put that into the list?
into a cognitive obscuration. I'd either say self-doubt, um, gaslighting oneself.
He definitely feels like it feels like he's not in the moment. He's always living in the future or in the past.
Mm.
That's a really, yeah, good
That's a
observation.
good one.
Yeah, and that probably prevents him from following through with a lot of things and ideas because he's always all over the place and not here now. And to your point, Kat, about what you were talking about, doubt, the self-doubt, um, it probably ties in with not not confronting his fears and his his not confronting his doubts because of fears.
So would that be an emotional obscuration, fear?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Hmm.
Possibly stemming from a level of unworthiness. He has to prove something with the new ventures, like he needs to get something done. Like something
Mm,
about this present moment is just not enough. He needs to prove
yeah.
something. There's insufficiency to this. He knows the masculine aspect, so what about the feminine? Can he just be with all of this without needing to get somewhere? Why is this not
Yeah.
enough?
Thinking
A
about
good
that, like
reading
for
on
him,
between the lines. Go ahead, Matthew.
what is, I was just going to say, like, what is his, from his, for him, what is the masculine principle? Like his idea of what that means might be slightly obscured or might be
Hmm.
completely sort of misplaced or twisted in some way. I guess that probably ties into the gaslighting of himself, being too hard on himself in some way, not being understanding that what that really means fully and being able to follow through with his endeavors in some way.
Mm, like constantly trying to prove himself.
Hmm.
Yeah, because that's quite taxing. That's not, yeah.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
always venturing out for something new. He is unable to create the safe container to feel what is really there because his masculine energy is going outwards instead of maintaining a strong inward posture of just being with what is there.
Mm.
So Matthew, are you saying he's not understanding the masculine principle, or he's too focused on it?
Well, yeah. I mean, what his view on that? Like, what is that to him? I guess is
Okay.
there something that would possibly be worth coaxing out to define?
Okay.
What How is he measuring himself um, in regards to that?
What's his
Okay.
relationship with his father like?
I was thinking the same thing.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good point.
But it does seem like there's a theme of potentially not feeling like he's enough and needing to
Hmm.
live up to something or prove himself. Like it's fundamental, like I am not enough kind of thread. Potentially.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a big emotional obscuration for him is he hasn't contacted shame really and the
Mm,
resistance around it.
Mm.
yeah.
Mm. Would you say that's his main fear, the fear of confronting shame? What else is he afraid of?
Failure, perhaps.
Y- Pardon?
Failure, perhaps.
Failure.
Just not living up to his own idea of what he thinks he should be.
Which kind of ties into the shame, right? It's like a
Yeah.
Yeah.
what
And it's like, why is he afraid of failure and shame? If that
mm,
makes sense.
yeah. And maybe he also has a fear of like just feeling groundless, feeling just uncomfortable. I mean, we all do. But um it's stagnating him.
I think actually, yeah, Kristen, I feel like that made me think. Alex said you said something about like the fear element of that. Maybe you can go more into it. But when you said that, now, Kristen, what you said, it made me think of, I can't remember the name, but there was some theory about anxiety of how you're not confronting your fears. And so there's more and more like your world becomes smaller and smaller. Oh, and so
Mm.
therefore your anxiety increases and it becomes like this positive feedback loop, I think, more or less. And and so it's like related in that way. I
Mm.
feel like what you just said made me think of that.
Yeah, and I think the fact that he keeps starting new ventures and doesn't sustain them, it feeds into his failure. And then it seems like he doesn't confront the fact that he's failing all the time either.
Mm.
And so there's
Yeah.
the fear of approaching his failures, the fear of just looking at how he is planning his life, essentially. Um, yeah, a lot of so fear of his doubts. He probably doesn't like he probably has doubts, but he doesn't go into them enough.
Mm.
So he keeps like doing,
Mm.
just keeps doing instead of listening to himself in a sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it ties in with the masculine part as well, maybe.
Mm. And also, in his early 20s, an event occurred that marked the beginning of a gradual decline in his mental clarity and vitality. So there's a reason why he feels the way he does. He's trying to figure it out. What is the event? Was what level of fragmentation occurred? What happened? I'd love to know.
Maybe we'll get to find out.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so a shift happened in his early 20s, and then he started a gradual decline. So the anxiety most likely stems from that event. Though everyone has deeper restlessness in them. So perhaps the anxiety is also touching that, and that started his entire venture into gaining more clarity, mental health, wellness modalities to stabilize his mind. But the persistent anxiety is it is most definitely pointing to something deeper. Um, mm,
Um, are there any other assumptions that John is not examining? We've got that thinking that progress is that there's such a thing as progress.
yeah, what is he running away from? He needs to get somewhere. Does he?
So that's maybe that's an assumption that he has to get somewhere, that he has to prove himself.
Mm-hmm. An assumption that this moment isn't enough, that the anxiety and restlessness is not okay, and he needs to lift it. Uh,
Yeah, like this moment exactly is not enough, and he's also not enough
mm.
as well, I think.
In about, yeah, 3 minutes, we should get some more information.
Yeah. Like he's tied to this idea of how he should be, to behave in order to be enough. Uh, Goes into masculinity, business. I think the thing that happened in his early 20s is related too, because maybe before that he he was living up to this idea of how who he should be. And so when that event happened, it disrupted his view about who he is. And
Mm.
so that's where things started, theoretically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's a really good point, Michael. And it's as well, we also, I feel like most people have these ideas of different stages in life where they should be at or what they should be doing. And also, as you change stages, like maybe there is a new set of conditioning about where you should be at and what you should be doing. And so that shift can also play into maybe he was fulfilling that in his 20s and maybe not in his 30s because there's like a new ball game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, he might have had like a more balanced idea. He might have had, just sort of a more free free feeling about life. And then maybe in his 20s he met some kind of a mentor, or I don't know, somebody that influenced him to take on new beliefs that, you know, like maybe he was like, wanting to get a girl or something like that. And so he saw this, he started wanting to emulate men that he saw online who kind of talk about getting girls, and were very, overly masculine. And so he kind of like took that on. Anyways, I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I think we're at the time
Yeah.
for the next bit of info.
Mm-hmm.
So, in more intimate sharing, John reveals ongoing financial stress. He feels he is not earning enough to provide for his family. He explains that his primary motivation for contemplative practice is to become a better provider and a protector for them. John says he would renounce the world entirely if not for his family. He claims he couldn't care less if Armageddon was here. Yet for his family's well-being, he is willing to endure anything. He notices a recurring impulse to calm his wife's anxiety by earning more money. He believes that if he could solve his financial problems, he would finally have the time and energy to focus fully on meditation.
He's escaping for sure. Another hidden assumption might be that meditation will fix his life, or that more financial income will fix his wife's stress.
Uh,
So we still don't know what happened in his 20s, right?
No,
Are,
no.
are we going to get more info, Tom, or
no,
is that it?
that's it.
Okay. Um,
I think from here, what would be most useful is to look at firstly, what does genuine progress look like for him, and what
Mhm.
actionable suggestions could help him advance.
Genuine
yeah.
progress for John, in my opinion, would be to stop running from the anxiety and just look it straight in its face and be like, what are you asking of me? What are you showing me? And try to be with it. And whatever comes up, that would be the progress he's looking for. Because he will become more stable in himself. He will not need meditation to renounce the world. And he will not use his family as an excuse to keep his own financial distress alive.
Yeah, I mean, I think he really needs to, like you said, stop running away and
Mm.
look at the actual, stuff he has to take care of.
Mm.
Are they overspending, or like, you know, fix the immediate, come up with some very skillful solutions to any immediate problems that he's like running away from.
Mm.
Um, what's going on financially? What's going on with his wife? Is his wife,
Mm.
is she reacting to him, or is she just like does she, maybe she has her own stuff, and she's overspending, and he's afraid to tell her they need to rein it in because he's got this idea that he has to be protector and provider, and he's afraid he'll lose her
Mm.
if he um if
Just to
he
be quite honest.
yeah, if he like faces facts with her.
Mm.
Yeah.
She'll see
Well,
he's not enough.
mm,
He's
Yeah,
got to
seems to be
like
putting
be
a lot of pressure on
he's got to
himself.
act It's like he's got to be willing to actually have that be a possibility.
Yeah.
Maybe she will leave him.
Mm.
And
Maybe the event was he got married. But um, um,
I feel like telling him that's a possibility might be too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd pose that, yeah, including his wife into his financial issues might be better, and to just tell her about it, because his stress is, he assumes that his wife's stress or anxiety needs to be dealt with. But what if that, like, his stress and anxiety is what's causing her stress and anxiety? And can they come closer together to find a solution as one?
I mean,
So I think the at the root of this is like getting the fitness to just bringing it back to the context of CC and what we're doing, what we're training. Um, is the fitness to actually route through um, earth and water. I think really air. Um, seeing all the meanings that he's making that he hasn't really been aware of. Um, and then as he gains fitness in that, he'll be able to, I think, see through these obscurations and his life will change as a result.
Mm.
That's a good intervention to just go with for now.
Mm.
Like
so
go.
you said route through water and air,
Well, I mean,
all of them.
oh, yeah,
Mhm.
what we've been
Yeah,
doing so far,
yeah.
fire being also.
Yeah.
But also earth element, the anxiety is something very physical. So he needs to remain in contact with it. And if he cannot, he runs away into the air element.
Mm.
And to make him see more clearly that um, they help each other. He's just oscillating between them. Can he just stay with them more? Maybe
But I
some,
think like,
yeah.
oh yeah, go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead.
Okay. And I think the way that we should deliver this to him, um, because if we the point is that he's been um, approaching this meditation from this view that something has to be fixed.
Mm.
He's that like that's his assumption. So how do we get him to see this assumption?
I'd love to have more information for that, but
I feel like
to make,
maybe potentially there is like a destabilization of his usual strategies that could be helpful. Because like right now he's like, starting the businesses, they're failing. He's pretty much setting himself up for failure and like reinforcing that belief. And like it's continuing doing it. It's almost like that itself is the distraction. So like are there other supporters in terms of instructions and intervention to help him like not be constantly like moving the parts to just see what is. That makes sense?
mm, yeah. But
I
also,
mean,
yeah, it's his second boot camp, so he should be strong enough to face certain death. Like
yeah,
he should be strong enough at this point to just face what's ahead because he's been running. Like he needs to be real with himself and the death of what he's currently doing. It's just not working. And someone just needs to point it out to him, like, hey, it's not working. But here are
yeah.
these things you can try out, and we will continue to be here because you're part of CC. Like we are here for you.
Like
Mm.
if he's been fully engaged, like coming to everything, then I think he would probably, you'd have to feel it out. But I think if he was coming to everything, is fully engaged here, I think he could be ready to hear things. But it would probably be best to get to it through asking him questions. So like asking him, what are you afraid of? What do you feel like you're running away from? How about, what is that worst case scenario that you're running away from? And how would you deal with it? Something like that.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
help him carry it. Yeah. Be with him. Be with him. Like, he doesn't have to do it alone. Like we're here for him. Like he
Yeah.
can fail. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a level of tactfulness because even like maybe our ideas of where he should be at is like another, should on top of where he should be at.
Yeah. That's a good
Do we
point.
need to do an intervention? Let Mei Cheng do
what
it.
what questions do you think would be helpful in because it says what actionable suggestions could help John advance?
Hmm.
I mean,
Take an
it,
ayahuasca trip.
I think he needs to explore the what happens if he, like, what is he afraid of? What happened if that thing took place? And like really like diving into that also, like, where does that lead, that thought process and the emotions that come up with that? It's like how do we get deeper into what's really there? Like what are the fears?
yeah, and maybe also asking the question like, what is, in the next 6 months, what is the most likely outcome? Not your worst fear, but what's the most likely outcome and what are some things you could do?
We have less than 5 minutes left. Okay.
Yeah. What you got, Tom?
A reminder to check the actual tasks.
Hmm.
Kristen, do we have three potential emotional obscurations and cognitive obscurations?
All right, so I'll tell you guys what I have here. Emotional obscurations, fear of confronting shame, fear of his doubts, and feeling of unworthiness. Um, Fear of failure, fear of his doubts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like close to three. That's like three. What do you guys think? Is anything missing from that?
Is not
I
feeling enough in the cognitive ones, or could that be an emotional one? Doesn't have to be,
Which,
but
which
I think they're
one?
tied together.
Say that
wait,
again, Kat.
what? Oh, I was just saying the feeling of the lack of being enough. Would that be a cognitive obscuration or emotional obscuration?
Um, yeah, I think it's like
Um,
both, like he has a belief that he's not worthy, but he also has like that,
Mm.
I guess the feelings of that belief turn into maybe feelings of shame. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe so his three emotional obscurations are fear of shame, fear of failure, and fear of his doubts, facing his doubts.
Mhm.
Fear of facing any of those three things. And then
Like,
for the cognitive, we've got let's see. Not living in the moment, always living in the future and the past. Um, so I guess we would put um, belief that he's not worthy. And this belief in that he has to stay like on the one side, on the masculine side, that he's sort of over, um,
he
what
needs
would
to
be the
provide
word?
form.
Say that again.
That he needs to provide and perform.
Yeah. So he's overly focused on the masculine principle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So belief of unworthiness, belief of
um, you know, just his focus on the past and the future,
Mm.
and then over focus on the masculine. Do you guys want to change or add to any of those?
Mm,
I think we're good. We got 50 seconds.
Okay. And then concisely, what is John's recurring challenge actually about?
well,
His inability to meet the moment as it is.
yeah, he
Exactly.
hasn't gathered a lot of things in his experience. Kind of goes back to, yeah,
Yeah. Meet himself as he is.
Can he just stay with the anxiety without going somewhere? Can he just let himself be cooked?
Yeah,
Who's going to
I
give a
think that sums
5 minute?
up really everything. Yeah.
Who's going to give a 5 minute presentation, guys?
I mean, I can do it since I have the notes if you want. Or if anybody else wants to do it, I'm fine with that.
That would be
That's